Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. It's December 13th, and I've got some, not all brand new slides, but I've got some brand new stuff in store for you today. So welcome to the coaching webinar. Let's get into the basics. The basics are that we have notifications to your cell phone either through SMS and or Telegram Messenger. I'll give that link in just a moment. I would encourage everyone here to download and install Telegram Messenger on your phone and on your computer. And even if you're also on the SMS list, get on that Telegram Messenger, because I talked to the team yesterday, and so I went to Salt Lake City to meet with the team that helps to coordinate the sales of the coaching program. And they said, listen, we think the current members of the coaching program would love short video lessons throughout the day every once in a while, once a week, even once a day. You break down a chart, you look at a trade that worked, or you look at a trade that didn't work, and it becomes a short lesson, and we can have sort of a growing repository of those lessons. And I thought, that's brilliant. That is a really great idea. I love that idea. And I could just put those videos, I can upload them into Dropbox or whatever, and you can just download those videos anytime or into a Google Drive folder. But I love this idea, and they would only be 1 or 2 minutes long, but you can't really do that in SMS as easily as you can with Telegram Messenger. So here, with no further ado, let's look at the Telegram Messenger link, robbiebooker.com/telegram. And Telegram Messenger is a free, secured, encrypted messaging program that works on phones and computers. And you can go to robbiebooker.com/telegram and get on the list. I suggest you get on this one, even if you are already on the SMS text messaging notification program, because Telegram makes it easier for me to share video directly to the platform. And I could send 400 messages on Telegram if I want, and it doesn't cost anything, but it can get very expensive to send lots of text messages. So with Telegram, it will encourage me to be notifying you more regularly. But it's nice to get notifications and reminders on your phone if we go live on a Friday or whatever else. So if you go to robbiebooker.com/SMS-coach, you can get on that list as well. If you want the slides for this month, go to robbiebooker.com/1219. If you want the indicators, go to /Knoxville or /KD-TV. We are very close to having brand new versions of these indicators built for you so that our charts look exactly alike. I never want to stop talking about the perfect trade. It comes from the 4-hour chart. It always has Knoxville divergence. It has a profit circle, missed pivot targets, and also some insider trading or fundamental evidence that the financial instrument should move in the direction that we talked about. One item that's on my mind that we will discuss later today is GREC. And GREC is the Greek ETF. And, long ago in a land far away, it printed a divergence and 2 profit circles and had missed pivots below, and it dropped. And every once in a while, it will do the perfect setup and it will drop a bit, and then it will recover. And on this China trade news deal, oh my gosh, did it recover. However, it hasn't broken the highs, and it hasn't broken $10. And so there are 2 thoughts that I have about this. This is a perfect trade. It's got all of the elements that we discussed: bearish divergence, bearish profit circle, missed pivots below. Greece is essentially bankrupt. A rising tide lifts all boats, and Greece is doing well over the last couple of days because of the China trade deal. Fine. If it breaks $10, that's a 100%, this is garbage, let's move on, let's do something else. However, if I were not in this trade already, this would be an opportunity right now to get into this trade less expensively, meaning at the greatest price ever. So it's got all of the elements. It's got everything here that I would look for. And if it breaks $10, I think it's totally reasonable to cut the trade off and, whatever else. So later on today, when we look at it, We'll definitely spend some time on Greg. But just because something's a perfect trade doesn't mean it works out immediately. However, Greece is going to fall. Italy's going to fall. All these trades are eventually going to, I want to say work and put it in quotation marks, and they're going to be amazing. We just are stalking them for a while, and it's going to take a while for some of them to complete. When we look at insider trading, and we have a beautiful insider trading Google Sheets going on right now. Insider trading is another story. It's a good company with earnings. Officers and directors are buying the shares. These officers and directors have a track record of success that we can verify from openinsider.com or on the Bloomberg terminal. We have missed pivot targets weekly and monthly, and the stock has been going down so that we're buying on a dip. All right, so I'm going to reshare my screen on the webinar software. It looks like, yep, it stopped sharing the screen almost right after we started. So the recording has the screen sharing. So you'll get the recording, but and that will have the screen sharing. Let's go back to the Telegram channel link so that you can see it, robbiebooker.com/telegram. That's robbiebooker.com/telegram. And then the SMS updates are at robbiebooker.com/SMS-coach. The slides are at robbiebooker.com/1219. And we talked about the perfect trade and Greg. And let me just walk back through this. It's never, like I said, I'll talk about this 400 million times. Sometimes you get the divergence, you get the profit circles, you have the missed pivot target, and then it moves up a bit, like it tends to do, and then boom, it goes. So we're looking at something similar, but not exactly the same. Bearish divergence, bearish profit circles, missed pivot targets below, but it's going up right now. And if it breaks $10, this is over, and just think that maybe it just didn't work out. Things didn't go the right way in that case. But this is right now pretty brilliant and pretty awesome, as far as the fact that if someone here missed the Greg trade, if I had missed the Greg trade and didn't already have a $9 put that expires in January, or even at this point March, it would be super cheap right now. It would be less expensive because price has been going up because of the China trade deal, and the China trade deal lifted, the rising tide lifted all boats, so to speak. Okay, back to the slides. Insider trading, and our watch list is at robbiebooker.com/insiders. We've got a growing, neat list of things. And as a reminder, of course, everybody already knows this, independent thinking is what makes us money. I'll always get us started in talking about a setup. I'll take trades in front of you. I'll even make new video lessons breaking down a good trade or bad one. And then you can learn from that. We'll get a really, really big growing library of successes and failures. And then you need to follow up with your own study, practice, and trading. And this is how you become massively successful. So today is December 13th, 2019. Let's run through some charts. First, we'll take a stop through the UK, where it looks like Brexit's going to happen, and it's going to be a hard Brexit. And we're going to talk about the trades we had and the trades we'd like. And you'll remember that we discussed trading the British pound before Brexit and either having a small position and holding it through Brexit, or getting out before the vote. Either way you handled it, I've got a lot to say, and there are some neat things going on with that. I also want to look at UVXY because it's doing exactly the wrong thing, and is another lesson in don't take the trade before it's a perfect trade setup. Then we'll look at some insider trades, and we'll talk about the plan for the rest of the month of December. So the other day we looked at the euro pound, and we talked about it rising significantly because traders would be changing directions as we come into Brexit. And a little bit of this really did happen, and quite nicely. We bought it. It jumped up to the weekly pivot, even spiked a little bit further from there. And then the vote happened. It even printed a bullish profit circle, and then the vote happened. And Boris Johnson's Conservatives have won decisively. and they're going to have enough votes in Parliament to pass pretty much any kind of Brexit that they want. I don't have an opinion either way about Brexit. It just seems odd to me that there was a referendum, and for better or for worse, people voted for the referendum, and it still hasn't been done. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And it looks like there was another, looks like this is another referendum on Brexit. It looks like this is it. So look what happened, though, immediately after the British pound got super strong after Brexit. It's like a flash crash. It immediately jumped back up. This is going to be really interesting. So let's say that you had a very small-sized position. Let's say I did. Let's say I had a very small-sized position going into Brexit, and I would be probably at this point, I would probably be 30 or 40 pips away from break even on that trade. And it looks good. It looks fine. Or I could just take the loss. Here's the British pound Australian dollar. Broke the highs, absolutely qualifies as a stop out unless the trade size was so small that it doesn't matter. We've now got 4 bearish profit circles on the British pound Australian dollar. 4 or 5 on the British pound Canadian. And the story continues on like the pound Swiss. Now, this is Brexit. This is like not once a year type of stuff. This is once a decade type of stuff that just happened. And it will be very interesting to see what happens from here. Now, I told you what this does is it sets up an incredibly interesting scenario. And we can use any of these currency pairs, but let's use the British pound Australian dollar. And I'm going to remove all the drawing tools. I'm going to walk you through a scenario here or two. And we're going to discuss 2 different trades that I think at this point, now that the news is done, that we could definitely see major movement on. The first is below this trend line or below the monthly pivot of 89.30, 1.8930. If we drop below 1.8930, we are falling 350 pips. That's trade number 1. I 100% love this trade. Now, what it does is it waits for the lows to be broken. It waits for the market to prove that price wants to go down. The other side of the coin is that now that the British pound has had this resurgent upward move, maybe it's relief that we all know what Brexit is and what's happening and whatever else. If we break the highs, that opens the floodgates for, I think, 2 pound even. So I'm going to publish this chart in our slides, and it will just take me a brief moment because I not only want to put the chart in there, I also want to write a couple of words about it. All right, so I'm just going to write out a few notes here. If we break below 1.8930, it sets the stage for a move 350 pips lower, and I will take that trade. I'll take that trade, period. If we break above the highs, the post-election highs, that's a buy trade up to 2. And I'll take that one too. Now, not both of those trades aren't going to happen. I mean, only one or the other is going to happen. Okay. Let's so you could translate this into a pound Canadian or euro pound or whatever else you want. The equivalent on the euro pound is breaking above 85.14. Now, if you're already long and you want to keep it, you could do that. I would take the loss because now it's closer and wait for the move above. Let's be safe. Let's be smart. The other trade is below the lows of 82.80. And that's the setup. Because now we know what the news is, and it's hard to imagine that we don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, we know that there's going to be a vote in Parliament, and this is going to move along, and perhaps even move along swiftly. So Lloyd wrote a comment, and before we jump into some of the stocks and stuff, I'm going to read his comment. Thanks for everything. After listening to all your information from the past year and a half, I feel like when I step off the cliff and really start trading seriously, I'll be confident and successful. My current version of the robot is crushing it. Two accounts are trading in completely the opposite direction of each other, running a modified version of the robot, using the T6 and the perfect trade to stay out of trouble. That's absolutely brilliant, Lloyd. I'd love to maybe do a video call with you, maybe next week even, and maybe we could look at some charts and you could show us a little bit of what you're doing, if you don't mind sharing with the group a little bit. I'll just alone with you do the video interview, and then if you're okay with it, we can share it later. Okay, that's the currency market. Let's also take a look at UVXY, and let's see what's going on. Excuse me, UVXY, I typed you in incorrectly. So we never got the profit circle. Never happened. Now we didn't quite break the lows, but we've gotten close enough that I think it basically qualifies. This is pretty crazy, right here on the verge. So let's change what these words say. Let's say by 17th of January calls when profit circle prints. And I would say January 17th calls or the March calls when the profit circle prints. I'm now going to take a screenshot of this chart, and I'm going to call this a watch list situation. But I'm telling you exactly what I'm going to do. Now, we already know this. We've discussed it. I jumped the gun. I have not deployed my major giant capital here. I am going to lose at this point $2,000 of, like 1% of my total available trading capital that I have right now. And I have 800,000 sitting off to the side that I don't know, I have no intention of ever deploying under any circumstances, unless I got a chance to buy Amazon for $100 a share. But this isn't a trade yet. But when a bullish profit circle prints on the 4-hour chart, I am going to buy between $5,000 and $8,000 worth of 16 calls that expire in January, and then probably split it between the ones that expire in January and March. And then I may also take a small put position, a very small one, like 1/10 of that capital, to benefit if volatility decreases. So I might try to do some things to limit my losses. Okay, so it's not a trade yet. We already discussed this. I don't have to spend more time saying the same thing 1,000 times. But we still need to see the bullish profit circle, and we don't have it yet. Let's take a look at ATGE and GTE. I think those are the two of the insider trading setups that we saw. And so here's what we said. I'd love to buy the stock if a bullish profit circle appears. And on GTE, insider buying, a perfect setup. I bought GTE for $1.12. The target is $1.50 or higher. I'm okay waiting 4 months for this trade to materialize. So ATGE did not print the profit circle. GTE did. I bought it for $1.12, and it hasn't moved yet. And we now have a waiting period, and I just got to put an alert on the chart so that it will move up. And it's got great profit targets on this. It's got insider buying. I think it's one of them on our watch list. I think. I'm not sure. All right, let's look at DCI and ARNA today, and then on to a couple other instruments. DCI, ARNA. That looks interesting. $47 stock. Would love to see a bullish profit circle here. Arena Pharmaceuticals. We did look at this one. Yeah, we did take a look at that one. So Jason jumped the gun and entered the UVXY February $25 call. Not down much. Do you think I'd cut the losses or let this play out? Cut the losses. Yeah. I think I'm probably not supposed to ever give anybody specific advice. So all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. This is not personal financial advice to you specifically. I'm always going to favor when it comes to thinking about like a year from now. I want you to feel like you had the best experience possible, and that means take the loss, and that means we get back in when it sets up. Yeah, that's the best way to handle it. Then what we're doing is we're always admitting when something hasn't gone well, and then we're all like, if you get out and cut your losses, you have to have a plan for getting back in. So the plan for getting back in is to wait for this perfect trade setup. And once again, if I see it, if I get the alert, if it happens, I'm going to message you, I'm going to text you, I'm going to do a special video lesson about it. I'm going to talk about it in the next 47 webinars that we do after that, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to look at a couple more financial instruments, and then I'm going to jump out of here. The clock is ticking on the Exotics Club live sessions. So some of you know that I occasionally will go live in the Exotics Club starting on January 1st. In fact, if there are some of you here that want to help out and take over for that, we have a couple sort of like stipend type positions available for you to go live in Exotics Club and share some charts and things. Wouldn't ask you to do it for free, but so I'm going to be focusing my attention here in the coaching program. I don't want to leave anybody totally stranded, but this is where my focus is going to be. And so we need a couple of people to share some charts and to show some, emerging, like say, okay, Scott published this trade idea yesterday. Let's look at the chart and break it down, that kind of stuff. And then I'll go in there once a month or whatever also. Okay. And Jason says, I didn't hear anything you said. Okay, EWI also, the rising tide of the China trade deal lifted all boats. And EWI, the Italy ETF, moved up. Now, this is further than I thought it would move up, but it's right at the level we talked about, $29.30. I'm not out of this yet, but if we break the highs, $29.71, it invalidates the entire theory, technically speaking, behind the trade. And it's got to go. And it deeply saddens me that that's the case. And then I have to have a plan for getting back in. And the crazy thing is, I don't have that plan yet because I would have to wait for it to fall too far, and it makes me sad. So I am right now, I'm still in the trade. I'm still short the EWI. I still think it's going to drop. I think it needed to drop off. You know how like you walk out of the house, you get over to the car and you realize you forgot your wallet. You make a short trip back to get your wallet or purse, and then you take the longer drive or trip to work. That's what EWIs do. That's what I think it's doing. It's a thing that happens. It prints the trade, it retraces, and then it moves in our favor. Now, it doesn't do that all the time, but there are lots of examples of printing the trade. It moves against us a bit and then goes back. There are examples also of it printing a bearish profit circle and not moving in the right direction. Or here's a great example of what might be happening right now. Bullish divergence, bullish profit circle, retracement against us, bullish profit circle. Oh, even more excitement. Deep retracement against us, bullish profit circle. So that's how we get back in. So if this stops out for us, so let's go back over here and I'll walk you through what we're going to do. This helps me out a lot, just looking back at those charts. So if we move up here and then come back down and we see another bearish profit circle, that'll do it. That'll be enough for me to get back in. And UVXY, the nice thing about UVXY, Jason, is if it prints bullish divergence and a bullish profit circle, historically there's a 90% chance that that trade is going to work. And so that's a beautiful, lovely thing. But the same thing would apply. Like, let's say it prints the circle, goes against us, stops us out, and then another one appears that's bullish, we go for it. You might ask, why are we not... Okay, Rob, thanks for all this. Thanks for the webinar. Why are we not just selling this financial instrument? It's obviously in a downward trend. We're waiting for it to rear its ugly head and jump up first. Then we'll do it. That's what we're waiting for. Like a bearish profit circle on a 60-minute chart. That's what we're waiting for. So I'm not opposed to doing that. Or if you look at Greg, I'm not opposed to buying this in the trend. It doesn't bother me. I'm not offended by trend trading. But let's get a bullish profit circle first. Let's do that. Let's trade with the trend occasionally, but let's wait for the signal and then do it. I feel super comfortable if we handle it that way. All right. There we go. I will see you on Monday morning. Shorter webinar. It's all recorded. The recording has the screen shared.